great occasion here at Cardiff Arms Park this afternoon. Let's quickly catch up on the teams. Wales making one change from the team that beat Argentina. Anthony Clement restored to the full-back position in place of Mike Rea. Let's move quickly on to Australia. Well, they bring back their experienced men after giving some of their reserves a run out against Western Samoa. Michael Lynagh captains the side today in place of injured half-back partner Nick Farr-Jones on his 50th appearance. And our ref this afternoon is Keith Lawrence from New Zealand, with fellow Kiwis David Bishop and Scotland's Jim Fleming on the touchlines. So all we're missing now is a ball to get this game underway. A full house here at last at Cardiff Arms Park. And Wales looking to bounce back after that disastrous 63 points to 6 defeat at the hands of Australia in Brisbane in July. So much still depending on the outcome of these two games in this final group, but as the old sporting cliche says, we in the commentary box, like the players, are going to take one game at a time. Hymns and arias rings out then, as it's Marty Roebuck who gets this game underway for Australia. Quick early take there for Cavan Mosley from the kickoff, but bundled into touch, so this will be the first line out of the game then, and the put-in will be to Australia. These first few minutes so important in that 63-6 defeat in Brisbane. Wales went to try down in about 2 minutes and never recovered. So if they're to keep interest alive in this group, they must make a good steady start. Kearns towards the front for McCall. A nasty ball for Slattery. Gets it out then to Lynagh. Ian Evans underneath it. Edgerton coming up quickly. Takes Ian Evans. But Anthony Clement on hand. And Gerald Davis, these opening exchanges so very, very important.
The early exchanges, particularly for Wales, I think. We can remind ourselves of the game in the Five Nations Championship last year against France and Australia in the summer, when Wales went down within a couple of minutes. Losing points straight away is so crucial for Wales in the early stages, at any rate, to hold the defence tight.
Long this time. Jeff Miller underneath it for Australia. Richard Webster, did he go over the top? No, the ball's been knocked forward, says the referee. So the first scrum of the game then will be a Welsh ball. So the two sides more or less level up front as far as weight goes. That goes also for the average age of the side, 26 apiece. Everything's set fair then for quite a challenge here this afternoon.
Whereas both sets of forwards are almost equal in weight, what is crucial is the technique, the technicalities there in the scrum.
So important, Bill Cockcroft, for one or other side to get some advantage in these set pieces.
Well, certainly, and again we've seen some hesitancy in the scrum early on, as we've noticed early in the week too.
Robert Jones has stood off then, wanting his back row forwards to provide him with the ball here. Phil Davis trying to control it, gets it back to Jones. And that's a good relieving kick then by the Welsh number 9. Robert Jones winning his 38th cap today, the second most capped Welsh scrum half of all time, behind Gareth Edwards. But again, it'll be a line out to Australia. Plenty of options. McCall standing 2. Eales now restored to the second row, jumping at 4. McCall gets his hand to it. Slattery under pressure though as the Welsh forwards go through on him. No way that ball was going to come out, and this is going to be a Welsh ball again.
Yes, I think it's important to note for the first time Australia is reverting to the line-out formations they used in the summer, very successful. So I'm sure Eales will be pleased to be back at number 4 to get more ball than he's received earlier on in the tournament.
Equally, that Ofen Hangawi as number 8 will lend some authority to the back row of the scrum.
Wales under pressure, then a Slattery goes through, but Australia with their hands in there. So a chance for Wales to get into Australian territory for the first time in this game. Anthony Clement coming up from fullback. That's a good kick by the Welsh number 15, taking play then into the Australian half. Wales with a pretty terrible record recently, just 5 wins out of the last 24 games. And tidy ball off. Hangawe gets his hands to the ball, but some pushing by Wales in the line out there. Richard Webster is the man penalised, so here's Michael Lynagh then, once again to put the pressure back on the Welsh. That is a superb kick by the Australian captain, having to take over the running of this side now, Bill Colecroft, with the absence of Nick Farr-Jones.
Of course, but Michael Lynagh's been around for a long while now, and plenty of experience in that position, both for Australia and, of course, for Queensland occasionally, I think.
Welsh ball for once, but it's tapped back by Eales, and a chance here in centre field. Tim Horan straightening up, now looking for back row support. Here he comes, the second phase ball. Lynagh all on his own, though. Puts up the testing kick. That's an offside decision there against the Wallabies.
But curious there, the ball emerging to the right to Lynagh. Lynagh was left on his own to the right. All the other three quarters from Australia had come here to the left, so that Lynagh's at half was left with no alternative but to put up the high ball.
So once again then it's Anthony Clement, the Swansea fullback, who's entrusted with this clearance kick to touch. Rob Edgerton unable to keep it in play, looking to take the quick one, but deciding to leave it for his hooker Phil Kearns. The Australians with plenty of advantage, potential advantage anyway in the line-out, with the big men McCall and Eales and Offa Hangawe as well at the back. There's McCall being marked by Paul Arnold for Wales. Towards the middle, taken beautifully in there by McCall, gets his hands on it. Wales defending pretty well for the moment, some untidy, scrappy play there, but it's Australia who'll get the put in.
Yeah, some poor control from the Australian team just then. That's part of the game they'll look to improve today, because earlier in the week they've been securing the ball but not delivering the second phase, and they want to improve there, but I think perhaps Poitevin and Miller and the men can do that.
Hangawe trying to control it, but Wales through, so a penalty then against the Welsh pack.
No, in fact, it was against Robert Jones. In fact, the ball was coming back on the Australian side. The ball was still in the scrum, and Robert Jones went in to retrieve it, and of course that is illegal.
So the first chance then of this game goes to Michael Lynagh, the Australian outside half.
I think it'll be very important for the Welsh today to be so disciplined in their own half, because Michael Lynagh is a type of player that likes to kick in these big stadiums, and if you can let him get a couple of penalty goals in early, it becomes all that more difficult.
So here we have a rerun of the incident, and Robert Jones, as you saw there, quite rightly pointed out by Gerald Davis, being caught. Michael Lynagh, 12 points against Argentina in the opening game, 9 points then against Western Samoa. A crucial 9 points in that 9-3 victory. And Lynagh certainly won't be put off by the noise being made by the crowd. But not successful though. Robert Jones breathing a sigh of relief, a little bit of indecision from him. Clement out to Emir, and from a tight position on the touchline, Arthur Emir forced to clear.
It shows also the advantage that Australia have taken by taking the kick off. They must have won the toss, they decided of the kick off, and they've been down here in the Welsh half for the last 8 minutes from the beginning of the game. Good advantage for Australia.
So the referee wanting them in the correct position then, as Phil Kearns puts in another good take by McCall in the line-out, as Australia now look to drive it on, staying on their feet well. Jeff Miller, number 7, the last man there, as on then go the Australian out. Offa Hangawe on the far side trying to rip the bodies away, as Australia now look to roll it, but there's some hard work going on in there. Lawrence Delaney, the Welsh number 3, trying to hold it up. Finally, Wales are penalised. So a second chance then in as many minutes for Michael Lynagh to give Australia the first goal.
Wales really have to be careful on these penalties, because they gave quite a number away against Argentina the other evening. This is the third one against them.
And Bill, as we saw in the game against Western Samoa, the Australians certainly very disciplined when it comes to that.
Well, that's always been an important part of the game, because as I said before, that if you can let the opposition get a couple of penalty goals in early, that just makes it much harder later in the game when you need to play that catch-up football, as we say, and it becomes a lot harder to achieve what you're after.
Michael Lynagh, one of 3 survivors from the Australian team that won here in 1984. Simon Poidevin and David Campese being the other 2. Lynagh, the try scorer that day, looking now then to open his account and Australia's account this afternoon with his second penalty attempt. That's an excellent kick then by Michael Lynagh. So with 9 minutes gone here at Cardiff Arms Park, first blood to the Wallabies. Australia lead by 3 points to 0.
And now comes a chance for Wales to get down in the Australian territory with that kick-off and see if they can respond. It'll be very important how they play in the next 10 or 15 minutes.
Australia, of course, will be very glad for all that pressure. They have managed, on the second attempt at any rate, to get points on the board.
Man in front of the ball. Bit of indiscipline there by Wales, so back they'll have to come to halfway. And it was Richard Webster, the flank forward, who was in front of the kicker. So Wales immediately then giving the advantage back to the Australians. Offahangawe controlling the ball at number 8 for the Wallabies. Slattery gets it away. Not a very good ball though. Horan has to tidy up. Overpowered then. The Welsh forwards rather slow in getting there though. And those that were there were penalised.
Well, it seemed to me as any number of people could have been penalised there, particularly Offahangawe, with the tackle had been taken. He was the 3rd man in and went over the top.
So Michael Lynagh once again then can send the Australians back into the Welsh half, where they've spent all but seconds of this first half so far, just over 10 minutes gone. That's an enormous kick by Michael Lynagh. Robert Jones unable to keep it in. What a superb bit of play there by the Australian skipper. So from his own half, he's put Australia, has Michael Lynagh, to within 5 metres of the Welsh line.
And it's Welsh errors in the main that have brought this back onto Wales.
Important for Garen Jenkins to get accuracy then. Arnold gets his hands to it, but he's bumped off the ball, says referee Keith Lawrence. So again, Wales will get the opportunity to clear their lines. And the crowd here at Cardiff Arms Park now looking for something to help them get behind their team. But the first job is Anthony Clement's to take them up towards halfway. That's a nice looking kick.
Already we're seeing a lot of interference in the middle of the lineup. Let's hope that the players on both sides get the message. At the moment there's very little jumping. It's a matter of hopeful hands in the air for the ball.
John Eales waiting then. 6'6", 6'7" Mosley against him. Mosley takes the ball, pops it up. Webster can't take it though. The referee waits for an advantage to Australia. And Slattery has it. Pretty ill-directed kick, that one though. And plenty of time for Anthony Clement to return that kick with interest. The Australian scrum half position, a key one this afternoon, Joel Lewis.
Well, this is the position that Nick Farr-Jones has established very firmly for himself in the Australian team. A lot of pressure on Slattery, who played very well at Pontypool the other day, but I should imagine the Wales will want to concentrate their efforts on him.
John Eales leads the drive then for the Wallabies, creating the platform but losing the ball, so it's Robert Jones, gets it to Scott Gibbs. Tackled by Lynagh, but fortunately for Wales, Mike Hall is there to do the sweeping up job. Garen Jenkins, the Welsh hooker, being called there by referee Lawrence. It's Phil Kearns, in fact, the Australian hooker, penalised for the shoulder charge in that situation. Phil Kearns, dangerous play, says referee Keith Lawrence. This is the 15th meeting between these two countries. Wales have won 8, Australia 6. But Australia have won 4 of the last 6. They're on the run at the moment, but it's Anthony Clement who's actually taken Wales now then up to the 22.
And I was just thinking, before he took that kick, it was so important for him to kick a long kick. There was such a difference earlier on from the kick that Liner took, which spread about 60 metres or so, that this time Clement should do as much for Wales.
Phil Kearns into the line-out then, going for Eales, bodies all over the place, lifting in fact, says referee Lawrence, by a Welsh forward. And I think really he could have given one of half a dozen reasons for giving a penalty there. Really is a scrappy, untidy part of the modern game, Bill.
Yeah, let's hope it doesn't interfere with the game this day. As I said before, the players have to get the message, because obviously the referee's picking on that aspect of the game and you have to respond to it.
So the battle of the kickers pretty even as Michael Liner then brings Australia back again into Welsh territory.
And one option for them is to call for the shorter lineouts, which creates more space and the better opportunity to jump for the ball.
It's just, I find it very difficult how you can choose any one incident, as you were saying, Bob, for half a dozen.
Welsh throw this time then. Garen Jenkins going towards Mosley. Tapped that back by Eales. Slattery does well. Gets it to Liner. It's a huge kick across field. Will it actually find touch? Yes, it does. My word, what a superb shot there by Michael Liner. Really taking control of this game, taking it by the scruff of the neck.
He's able to do that, of course, because at this stage, Australia are winning so much good possession, particularly from the line-out.
15 minutes gone then of the first half. Wales trailing by 3 points to 0 and facing this line-out right on their own line. Jenkins, won by Australia. Slattery going through. The ball alive on the Australian side. Poidevin. Up comes Jeff Miller. Now they want some power behind them as they drive on over the Welsh line. But no way the referee could actually award a try there.
Equally, I'm surprised that he didn't allow the movement to go on. It was a terrific drive from Australia. He's called for the scrum, but in fact the ball was emerging on the Australian side through Offahengawe.
Plenty of options then for Australia in this position as Slattery waits to feed the scrum. And this time it's the Australians who are ill-disciplined. And so Clement then can clear his lines when Wales must have been fearful of what might have come from that set scrum. Anthony Clement then reclaiming his place in the side today. Rather fortunately, some people felt, because Mike Rea, the Cardiff fullback, did particularly well in his absence against Argentina. So again, a full line-out then on the 22. Phil Kearns putting in for Australia. Eales back to Slattery. Horan to Little. Up from fullback is Marty Roebuck. Wanting support, it's a little slow coming. Poidevin was the first man there. Miller there also. Australia looking for second phase ball. It's come back on the Welsh side though. And a penalty award against Australia. So once again, Wales escape.
Well, yes, Australia will be disappointed at that. Firstly, it was certainly good work by the backs to get in that position, but that was critical then that the ball came back from Roebuck, who controlled it on the ground. But so obviously some misunderstanding and perhaps some good defence from the Welsh too.
Once again then it's Clement. And the score between the kickers must be about 3 games all in the first set, I should think, so far.
You will notice the difference though. The Australian forwards, when they get there, do stay on their feet, and that's we've seen a lot of that in the World Cup so far. It's very critical to do that, and it's the best way to win the ball. Mosley and Eales, the two key men in the lineup. Then Eales gets his hands to it, and it's Slattery goes on a snapping little run. Has Offahengawe there supporting him, the number 8. Players warned by the referee to make sure they don't get into an offside position. Australia looking to roll this maul then. They have the ball in their possession. Finally, referee Lawrence has enough. He says he'd warned Wales often enough, and Kevin Mosley in particular, to get away from the offside position, and it's a penalty then to Australia.
And that's the 6th the referee has awarded against Wales. The count so far goes 6-2 in Australia's favour.
So a second opportunity then for Michael Lynagh, third opportunity rather, one successful kick out of two so far, and this one well within his range. So here's the incident, Bill.
Well, again, once again, the Australians got that well in control inside their own pack of forwards. It's a little difficult to judge there, perhaps unfortunate, but the message is that that's the way the referee is going to interpret throughout the match, and again, both sides have to be aware of that and react accordingly to avoid these sort of penalties.
And to be fair, referee Keith Lawrence had adopted the crime prevention policy for quite some time there. He'd warned Wales some 20-25 seconds earlier that they were infringing before finally blowing it. Kick of some 45 metres then for Michael Lynagh, looking to extend the Wallaby lead. But on this occasion he's pulled it wide of the posts, giving it a bit too much hoof maybe. So with some 19 minutes gone, Australia still in the lead by just those 3 points, with the dropout from the 22. Pretty good one, allowing his men to get up. A lot of pushing and shoving there again, as Wales now then look to get some momentum into their play. Back again to Ring, into the wide open spaces over here, forcing Roebuck to come across. Roebuck looking to counter-attack, running out of support just for the moment, and penalty against Australia. So Wales now then will look to keep up some momentum. Quickly taken to Ring, back to strength, looking to link with his back row. Big number 8, Phil Davis. Gareth Jenkins, the hooker's in there, lays it back well. Robert Jones now with Webster. The crowd really getting behind the Welsh team now as the forwards go steaming into that position. And as we wait for the referee's decision, Wales going forward, yes, they get the put in.
And good play coming from Wales there in taking the quick penalty, making Australia think, because so far the game has been dominated by the set pieces that have been ruled by and large by the Australian team. It's up to Wales now to keep it loose, keep the ball on the run, give it some air.
Injury at the moment to the Australian number 9, Peter Slattery, playing his first full game today, first full game for Australia today. So here's the incident. Good driving play, Bill, by the Welsh forwards.
Yes, indeed, that'll give them a lot of confidence, and of course Robert Jones electing to work the short side, but some powerful tackling here from Poitevin and Mofagawi, knocking Webster right back in his place.
Phil Davis controlling it then for Robert Jones. The kick for Ieuan Evans to chase. But that's drifted out of play, so back they'll have to come then to the position where Robert Jones put up that kick.
And we're coming to the most critical of the phases in the game so far. There have been, according to my count, 8 line-outs so far. 7 of those have been won by Australia.
Turns in again. McCall does so well. Little gap on the blind side there for Slattery. Offside against Wales, though, no advantage to the Australians, so referee Lawrence takes them back. And a chance for the siege gun of Lynagh then to take Australia once again after this brief interlude back into the Welsh half. A superb kick by Michael Lynagh. Robert Jones athletically trying to get to it. And my word, every successive kick from Lynagh, they get better and better, don't they?
Well, that is also a difference. We've looked at Clement earlier on kicking for Wales. He may take Wales up to 20 or 30 metres, but when it's Lynagh's turn to do the same, it's usually 50 or 60 metres, and those extra few metres are critical.
So here's the view then that Gareth Jenkins, the Welsh hooker, has. He has Paul Arnold standing at 2. Kevin Mosley in the middle. Goes towards Mosley. Can't get his hands to the ball though. It's Daly on the field for Australia. Tackled by Robert Jones. The ball's still alive for the Wallabies as they go charging for the Welsh line. Not quite getting there though, but it's the Australians who are going forward. And they will get the scrum, the put in at the scrum here, and surely a great chance for the Wallabies.
Indeed, it's a real test for both scrums now on the line, and I think you'll probably see the Australian pack keep it close here and test them on their own defence.
Back row move maybe, that's how close that Australia are to the Welsh line as Slattery fields. Offa Hengawi controlling the ball at number 8. Looking now then for the second drive, picks up himself, driven across field though by the good Welsh tackling. Miller goes in on the ball, but he's the man penalised, I think, for going in over the top.
But good play again from one of the stars of the World Cup of Wales, at any rate so far, Emil Lewis. He was the one that delivered that fine tackle on Offahengawe.
It was a good tackle because it was so low, because if you try to go high on a man like Offahengawe, you're going to get knocked out of the way.
So once again then, Wales escape. With some 24 minutes gone in the first half, Wales still trail by 3 points to 0, thanks there to the efforts of that man, Emil Lewis. Phil Kearns, the hooker, then takes his orders. McCall doing so well. This time it goes long. Eel standing at the back, and it's Offahengawe looking to straighten it up. Needs to turn though and find support. And Slattery liner switches to the open side of the field. Across goes Clement. Arthur Endo too. Just for a moment, the two men seem to leave it to each other. But finally, it's Clement who gets the ball away. But the pressure is still coming from the Wallabies. Just some 10 metres out then, the Australians.
And really, Wales must do something about the line-out. It's now 10-1 in Australia's favour, which accounts for the terrific pressure that they've been able to lay siege to the Welsh line so often.
Kearns throws long again then. Tucked back by Mosley there for Wales, but there's a penalty coming to Australia if they should need it. They have the advantage. Liner getting there. Does he try? Does he get the try? No, in fact, he's short, but the referee brings them back for the penalty then to Australia. And Liner, robbed of a try, may well get the chance here to add a penalty.
Sure, the referee's probably suggesting Mosey putting his shoulder and interfering with Eales at the back of the line out there. Let's have a look at it again.
Burst by Liner, not quite getting there.
Well, that's certainly close, because in rugby, on the line is a try, and that must have been only a few centimetres in that.
And once you are tackled, you are allowed a slight readjustment if you're close enough to the line.
So Michael Liner's one success so far had come from very much this position.
He's missed with 2 others, but then 8 penalties already have gone Australia's way.
So we can have another look quickly, can we? Yes, before Michael Liner takes it, at just how close he got. Slattery making a sniping little run. And my word, he was desperately close.
Well, I have to suggest that probably was a try indeed.
The crescendo of sound rises then as Liner strikes the ball across the face of the posts. So, once again, Wales have escaped, and they still trail Australia by just 3 points to 0 after some 26 minutes of this first half.
And I'm just wondering whether it's the fault of the ball. All the main outside halves in this competition, Fox, Liner, Camberabero of France, have all complained about the ball and how difficult it is to kick and to control.
So refereeing decision there very much going in Wales' favour. Didn't do so against Western Samoa, with a try, of course, that proved so crucial in the end. The ball alive then on the Australian side is Jeff Miller. Showing great strength there, not the biggest of flank forwards, but doing well as Australia then inch their way up towards the Welsh line once again. Finally the ball goes to ground, and a Welsh body going in on the wrong side. So another penalty, yet another penalty for Australia.
Yeah, I think that's a very good illustration of the point we made earlier, that Australia had that ball under control. It was their ball. The Welsh defence really had just to stay back and try and hold the line rather than concede another penalty. You can see here again, the Australian forwards have got it inside their pack and in good control. Comes back in a moment. And there it is, the Welsh front row, I think, diving in on that ball.
And the Welsh three-quarters have been encroaching there as well. So another opportunity then for Michael Liner as we move up towards the 30-minute mark. Another chance for Liner to extend Australia's lead. Michael Liner, 647 points in his international career to date, the world record holder Pitch judges have a good close look. This time they like it. Successful kick by Michael Liner. So with some 28 and a half minutes gone of this first half, Australia in the lead by 6 points to 0.
All the game so far seems to be played in the Welsh half. It's a real problem for Wales now, how to get out of this very stranglehold that Australia have on the game. They need possession, and what possession they do have, it's important that Wales keep it.
On the plus side at the moment, though, they've absorbed half an hour of pressure without conceding a try, and it's only 2 penalty goals. 6 points is still very manageable at this time of the game.
Mark Ring just chipping the ball up then for his forwards to get up there. Arnold was up quickly, and Australia going through in opposition, charging through on Wales. So what will be the Welsh skipper Ieuan Evans' decision here? Mark Ring fancies his chances here, so they go for the posts to bring Wales back to within 3 points of Australia. And really that wouldn't be a reflection of the play, but it's points that count, of course.
I'm just surprised a little bit that Mark Ring might not have tried a high up and under here.
So there's the territorial advantage graphically shown there to Australia. That must be about 90% plus.
Mark Ring, of course, is not renowned for his long distance penalties, but we shall see what happens this time.
Strokes the ball beautifully. Just wide though, but a good effort by Mark Ring. And at least Wales will be happy that the Australians now have to drop out on the 22, so a chance for Wales to reclaim possession. So the Australians dominating this game possession-wise, as you see there, mainly in the line-out. As Roebuck then puts up a high one. Mosley takes it two-handed, getting support from Phil Davis, but lets the ball go at the last moment. And Liner can counter-attack. Horan, up from full-back is Roebuck, decides to straighten it up. Now looking for his back row forward to get in there, but the ball is breaking on the Welsh side. Tidied up by Arnold. Out on the blind side then to Mike Hall. The little kick for Arthur Emir to chase on. David Campese just nips it into touch. His first touch of the game. Good kick though there by Mike Hall. Just Arthur Emir outside him. As the Welsh fans then get behind their side as they look to get possession from this line-out.
And their first visit, it seems to me, to be beyond the 22-metre line, midway between the 22-metre line and Australia's try line.
Kearns into the line then. It's McCall again who gets up well. And Wales again unable to get possession in that key area of the game. And Liner's kick takes Wales again back to the Australian 10-metre line.
Yeah, Rod McCall's had an outstanding game in the line, and I think probably that the Welsh have focused on Eales as the #1 jumper for Australia. He's moving position down the back, in the middle. Meanwhile, that's leaving Rod McCall a free rein to take them. Thank you very much.
Referee Lawrence wanting to make sure there's plenty of room there for the jumpers. Look at those amazing figures. Australia trying to control the ball. They do it, they roll it well also. Number 3, Mackenzie in there. Referee Lawrence also wanting to make sure the Welsh are back, far enough back. As it's Little then, the long ball to Edgerton, looking to take on the Welsh skipper Ieuan Evans. He tackles him well, but Jason Little's there in support. And Ieuan Evans going through well to tackle Jason Little in support also. Problems for Ieuan Evans, who of course just back in action after yet another shoulder injury, and tackling the key area of this game for him.
But it seems to me that in the line-out, Lawrence, the referee, is going down, insisting on the gap in the line-out. But once the ball is thrown in, Australia, it seems to me, move right across almost en masse.
So Jenkins puts in then, tapped back by Eales, a difficult ball for Slattery. But now it's Tim Horan. Long chase across the field for Clement, a tight angle for his kick also. But safety first, that's what Wales wanted, and he found a safe touch.
But what it does, of course, is once he kicks out the ball out of play, it's Australians put in again into the line-out. Well, the referee again insisting about having the gap. The gap soon closes when the ball goes in.
Tap back again then by Ofahangawi, this time for Australia. Slattery tied in there, so it's Jeff Miller playing the scrum half roll, now joining in. Great drive by the Wallaby forwards. As they go to ground, Australia looking then for the second phase ball. Lots of bodies in there preventing the ball coming back. Now it does for Liner. Bringing Campese into play. There's an overlap here and surely a try. Marty Roebuck, the fullback. So after some 34 minutes then of this first half, it's fullback Marty Roebuck who gets the first try of the game, extending Australia's lead to 10-0, and they were queuing up for that one, weren't they?
The crucial man, of course, was David Campese, who'd come over from the right-hand side of the field to join the line. He created the extra man. It confused the Welsh defence. Here it is, Campese through, and from here on in, there were three men lining up to score the try, and it goes to Roebuck, the fullback.
This is up looking from the front-on view. Certainly Australia knew what they were doing there. See Campese sneaking in from the blind side, and once he got behind the fence, it's just a matter of hands to the wing, elementary stuff, and they scored a try. But you do sense that Australia really knew what they were doing there, the way they drove the ball up through the forwards, delivered to the backs at the right time, and that's the result.
Marty Roebuck getting his third international try in just his 7th international appearance, and he had men over. Marty Roebuck out for a couple of years with a very, very bad knee injury. His knee had to be rebuilt. As it's the skipper then, Michael Liner, who looks to add the extra points to that first try of the game. Very close, very unlucky. But with some 35.5 minutes gone then of the first half, Australia well in control at 10-0. So really testing time again for Wales then, as Australia turn their superiority into points. This time an obstruction against the Australians. So now, what will be the Welsh decision? Again, some length. Can they keep up some momentum by actually going for a move? No, it's going to be another kick to the post by Mark Ring. And Wales really desperate, I suppose, to get some points on the board before half-time.
I mean, I'm sure that Mark Ring's probably got some confidence in the way he struck the last ball, although generally speaking we've seen little evidence or ability of any players to kick from this distance throughout the tournament so far.
Yes, the ball very light, very difficult to control. Ring struck that well. The crowd tell you here at Cardiff Arms Park that it's there. So Mark Ring's penalty goal then has brought Wales back in it. My word, it seems incredible that Australia only lead by 7 points.
That's very much what Wales needed, just 3 points anyway, anyhow, just to keep them in touch. At the moment, they're not too far out of it.
Liner's kick then going over the try line. Mark Ring will look maybe to take a quick one here. Putting the ball in for Ian Evans, making a complete hash of it though. But he'll get another opportunity because I think the Australians there had crossed the line, which they're not allowed to do. So this time then, the highly unorthodox Mark Ring goes for the conventional route. Paul Arnold goes up. Lots of bumping and boring again before finally the ball is settled, I think, on the Australian side. The touch judge has his flag up. David Bishop still keeping it up. Referee Lawrence hasn't seen it yet. Finally the ball then alive on the Australian side. The kick through there by Liner. Clement calls for the mark. The referee has awarded a penalty to Australia, but meantime David Bishop, the touch judge, still with his flag up on the far side of the field, which would suggest an Australian transgression. Referee Lawrence still hasn't seen him. Now he goes over to talk to his fellow countrymen. And the Australian, it seems, penalised So here's the kick there by Liner through, obstructed, but the original incident had happened before that. And in fact, it's Mike Griffiths, the Welsh prop, being called over. So this must be serious. Ian Evans also being brought across. Accused there by the touch judge of elbowing at that kickoff. An obstruction on the kicker. So this will be a penalty then to Australia.
But apparently an elbow hand had been used as well, and the referee has given an official caution then. He said he'll know next time what the consequences are if he transgresses once more.
So just before half-time then, this is a chance for Michael Liner to increase the Australian lead once again to 10 points. Not a successful day by his own high standards on this, his 50th appearance for his country. As we go into injury time then at the end of the first half, that transgression by Mike Griffiths with the headband there could well have cost Wales dear. Bread of heaven rings out, but it's Michael Liner who has the chance to push Wales deeper into trouble. Again, though, he's missed it, to the delight of the fans here at Cardiff Arms Park. So into injury time at the end of this first period, Australia still leading by just 10 points to 3. In fact, the referee's whistle has gone. So at half-time then, in this crucial match at Cardiff Arms Park, the tournament favourites, Australia lead by 10 points to 3. The Australians in dominant control of this game, Bill. They should be leading really by more than 7 points.
I think that's the only thing they'll be disappointed with. That's the scoreline. But generally speaking, I think the forwards are performing very well, controlling the ball, giving their backs plenty of time to select the options they want. And from that aspect, it's their best performance this week, I'm sure.
So it'll be Wales then with the kickoff. The capacity crowd here at Cardiff Arms Park looking forward to this most crucial 40 minutes. The only 40 minutes Wales may have left in this competition. Anthony Clement then deciding on the direct long route towards the post, but plenty of time for David Campese to get in his clearance kick. But this time for once, it'll be Wales' throw-in at the line-out.
Really, Wales must try and see where they can get some ball, and as I anticipated, they're shortening the lineouts, getting fewer people in there in the hope of getting some possession.
So it's Emmett Lewis at the front, Mosley at 2, Arnold at 3, Phil Davis at the back. That's for Arnold, does well. Chance then for Ring to put up the high kick. Mike Hall going through, but plenty of time for Roebuck there, but in the meantime, anyway, they're called back to halfway. The throw wasn't straight. So after Wales had the opportunity to get some valuable possession, they failed to do so. So the scrum now then will be to Australia.
Yes, again, Lawrence has been very strict on his interpretation of the lineup, but that was good practice for the Welsh side anyway.
Roebuck feeds there. Offa Hengawi controlling the ball for him at number 8. Liner's turn this time to send Wales back into their 22. Clement for the moment losing the ball, but getting a nice bounce. And the difference is highlighted by Gerald Davis in the first half. Anthony Clement getting the 20 or 30 yards there, whereas Michael Liner here would get 40 or 50. And that sums up the game so far. Mark Ring, 1 pass in the second half, just 2 in the whole of the first half. Kearns going towards the back again. Miller got to it, and it's Horan in centre field. Coming in on the burst is Jason Little, ploughing his way through the Welsh side. The long pass for Campese, gets the bounce. The little goose step back inside for Kearns, but he's in touch. And a rare moment there for David Campese. in this game. He created the only try of the game, but he had a little bit of room there.
It was the only touch, I think, that he had right throughout the first half when he created that first try, and he's touched it again the second time. Once again, he looked dangerous.
So once again then, Wales forced to defend just metres out, some 5 metres out from their own line. Deciding this time, as they're so close to the line that really they need to have a full line, but beaten there by the Australians, but the Australians using an Australian forward using the shoulder of another forward there to get some height. So it's Tony Clement again then. But of course, next time, of course, Australia will get the throw in at the line out again, so another chance for them to exert their domination in that sphere of play.
I think they will have to try and find alternatives when they do have occasions for penalties like that. Simply putting it out of play won't do anymore. They may have to try other tactics like the up and under wherever they are on the field, simply to keep the ball in play.
Beautiful take again by McCall. Horan taking on Mark Ring, taking on the Welsh midfield, aided by Miller. Good second phase ball. Liner with a little kick then into space for Campesi. Back goes Arthur Emyr. Just getting the touchdown, but they carried it over. So this will be a scrum five then to Australia. Arthur Emyr, the Welsh defender. So a great chance for Australia within 5 metres of the Welsh line, but the scrum's gone down. And it's Mike Griffiths for Wales, Ewan McKenzie for Australia on this side of the scrum who went down. Robert feeds. Will we get a back row move here maybe? Offengar is struggling. Beautiful pick-up though, and he can go for the line himself. So terrible blindside defending there by Wales on that occasion. Peter Slattery, in his first full game for Australia, gets his second international try, and my word, that was easy.
And the problem was, I think, that the Welsh went to put an 8-man shove onto Australia, tried to disrupt the Australian scrum. They all had their eyes down, and in the meantime, of course, whilst they were still in the scrum, Slattery was sneaking away on the blind side, nobody in defence, and a clear run to score.
And the man who's had to live in the shadow of Nick Farr-Jones for so long, enjoying that move. And there we see the acres of space provided for him. So easy that.
Yes, I think there's very little to explain about that. It's pretty much schoolboy stuff. Obviously, there's some misunderstanding in the short side defence there. I guess because they'd just put a little bit too much attention on the scrum, which is unfortunate. But I think generally Australia was building to that try and really made 3 or 4 very decisive moves in the last 5 or 10 minutes.
Liner striking the ball perfectly on that occasion. So with 5 minutes gone of the second half, Australia have extended their lead to 16 points to 3. So here's another look at Bill Carcraft at that try. Emyr Lewis, in fact, had been in that scrum, so no chance for him to get to the man. So a real mountain now then for Wales to climb if they're to get back into this game and back into the tournament. Slattery then with the hack into open space. And Clement from a very tight angle doing well to get that ball into touch. Once again though, it's going to be an Australian throw-in at the line-out. Once again, referee Lawrence wanting to make sure there's plenty of room for the jumpers.
But why really you should make such a fuss before the line-out begins, because they certainly close it immediately afterwards.
Slattery goes down on it, but this time it's Emyr Lewis who does well for Wales on the ground. Poor kick by Ring, straight then to Marty Roebuck. Clement underneath it. The sun in his eyes calls for the mark. And does pretty well there, Anthony Clement.
it's about time that the Welsh started to keep the ball in hand, really, because by kicking it, they're losing possession. And certainly the line, it's a matter of Australia throwing where they like at the moment, but it's time really from penalties to perhaps tap it quickly, put a bit of pressure on, but keep it in hand and give themselves a chance.
Well, even from a defensive position like that now, they're in such dire straits in the line-out. They're fooling themselves by kicking it back into play. They must find some ways of keeping the ball in play and keeping the ball in the hand, as you're saying, Bill.
This time it's Kevin Mosley of Wales who is penalised for pulling his man down. So once again Michael Lynagh can turn the screw on Wales. He'll send them back if he goes for touch at least to their own 22. In fact, he's kept the ball alive, ring underneath it, under pressure from Miller, but does well to get his kick away.
Is this an example of what the Welsh should be looking to do? Michael Lynagh put a perfect kick up there. The best result that the Welsh can achieve is to take a catch, which Mark Ring did very well, and get that kick away, but of course just means Australia has to throw in again.
Good ball again then for Tony Daly, the prop, to show his pace. The ball alive for Australia. Slattery goes sniping in there, gets good support too from Phil Kearns, number 2. Chance then for Australia maybe to roll this maul on. Bodies finally go to ground, but the ball looks to be coming out on the Australian side. Yes, here it comes. Phil Kearns playing scrum half, gets a good pass out to Lynagh. Horan into space, goes Roback to Campese. All the way, David Campese. And maybe here the floodgates are about to open. David Campese getting his 43rd international try with just his 3rd touch of this game. And Australia creating the chance for him perfectly.
But whilst there was good play coming from Australia, the Welsh defence was all at 6s and 7s here. They didn't know which man to take. 2 of the centres were out of position, it seems to me, allowing the position then in the way clear for David Campese.
It's a marvellous pass from halfback Kearns in that position, through the hands. And as often happens, it's David Campese, just his angle of running is probably the secret there. And so often he's through untouched, as in this case. And that's 6 points, and there's a real danger that they can run away with this game now.
Yes, indeed, with some 9 minutes of the second half gone. Australia now getting the lead their domination has deserved. 19 points clear of Wales. This is the view then from the other side of the pitch, showing David Campese's pace as he went clear of the Welsh defence there. Meanwhile, back live, Wales try to keep the possession, keep the ball alive, but the ball's gone out of play. So Wales then looking for possession from this line out. Quite amazing statistics. I don't think I've ever seen such statistics in a major international before. And really, Bill Calcrofter would have expected Wales to call the options more often.
Yes, I think they've really got to try something different. I mean, quite simply, what's happening at the moment is not working. They have to really try and change the momentum to keep the ball in hand, to tap it where they get the penalties, to use different variations in the line-out. Anything they can to get hold of the ball so they can have a run with it themselves.
One man who's been responsible then for that domination, John Eales, needing some treatment on an arm injury. But it's been Rod McCall really who's dominated this phase of play so far. So it's Garen Jenkins then, going towards Mosley in the middle, gets to it, untidy ball though for Robert Jones. Miller almost getting the interception. And the referee couldn't have spotted that knock-on because play is being allowed to continue. Horan going charging on, Tim Horan still through, terrible Welsh tackling.
But really, where was Keith Lawrence for that one? It was in clear play, it was a clear knock-on. He went forward several yards and he still missed it, thus putting Wales back under pressure again. Wales can do without the referee playing against them because there's enough coming from Australia.
Yes, a quite unbelievable decision there by Keith Lawrence, obviously totally unsighted. As Australia try to put pressure again on the Welsh scrum. The Australian penalised now. I wonder whether there that Mr. Lawrence was balancing things out, maybe.
Oh, it's poetic justice anyway. I don't think the Australians could quite believe that they got away with it and found themselves well up firm. But sometimes when things start going wrong, those bits of luck just don't go your way.
Tony Clement again failing to find touch, so the pressure can come from Australia again. It's Edgerton. Good support from Lino, showing good pace there also. Interception though by Phil Davis for Wales. Now Wales need quick ball to set the backs free. That's what Ring does. Hall to Clement, outside him is Emil. Up to Campese. Bundled over though by Horan, the ball going loose, and it's Edgerton again who's come over from the left wing. Poidevin trying to keep the Australians on their feet, but can't do so.
But again, a point to make against Wales here. They're finding it difficult to get the first possession, and when they do get a good run like that, when the tackle comes, the ball goes loose, returning the possession to Australia.
Referee dives into the players there for the earlier knock on. This scrum going to Australia. So it's Offa Hangawi as Poidevin comes off. The ball goes to the open. Lovely long pass there. Plenty of space for Jason Little. Looking for the man king inside. It's Edgerton. Good support also from Roebuck. And Ian Evans' kick finally dribbles into touch. But the pressure now on Wales is incessant.
Especially in the three-quarter line now. The three-quarters themselves must try to think of their own alignment, their own position, because these long passes coming from Australia are very dangerous indeed.
Here we see the move. Lovely scything run from that beautiful pass by Lino. It was Jason Little who went into space. Good running on the angle then from Rob Edgerton. Roebuck there too, but the move finally breaking down. Penalty award meantime against Phil Davis of Wales. Things warming up between Paul Arnold of Wales and Rod McCall. Referee Lawrence telling us that he had intended to give the penalty to Wales, but reversing it because of the punch by Phil Davis. So Michael Lino then, will he put up the high up and under into the sun? This time it's Australia who've gone in front of the ball. A rare bit of indiscipline there by the Wallabies. So the man in front of the kicker means the scrum will form, and it'll be a put into Wales. Scrum's gone down this time, although the ball is not in Scrum half Jones's hands. So referee Lawrence wants them to stand up again. There's one area where Wales are pretty even anyway. No takes against the head so far. And it's Davis to Lewis. Getting over the advantage line, but unfortunately not able to hang on to the ball. So it's Roebuck then who can drive Wales back again. That's an enormous kick. That is a superb effort by Marty Roebuck.
Well, it's just so vital that when you get the ball, you hang on to it. And, indeed, it was a heavy tackle from Offangawi, I think, but you have to hold on to that ball because against Australia, if you do that, they'll punish you, and they have done in this case.
Once again then, Wales in desperate trouble, within about 5 or 7 meters of their own line. It'll be Garen Jenkins, the Welsh hooker, though, with the throw-in. Towards Mosley, tap back though on the Wallaby side, but Daly knocking the ball on. So Wales will get the comfort then of the set scrum. The Welsh players, the Welsh scrum too far up, says the referee, ordering them back just that half yard. Taking his eye off the ball, making a terrible mess of that. And really a danger of the Welsh game falling to pieces.
Well, we've said this is so often, I think, that Wales are finding it difficult to get the ball from the set pieces of scrum, particularly the line-out. But also in the meantime, once they have had possession, they've been guilty of losing possession again.
So back live then. The scrum is inching its way towards the Welsh line. Offa Hengawi controlling the ball from number 8. Looking at him for another shove. They're going across field just for the moment. But plenty of control from Offa Hengawi. Then picks up, goes for the line, well tackled. Good support though from the Wallabies as they go forward towards the Welsh line, but just dragged into touch.
But what good play that was from Offa Hengawi. In fact, first of all, he controlled the ball beautifully at the base of the scrum, and yet when he got the ball, he drove for the line, tackled again, but allowed the ball to be passed on and very nearly allowing somebody else to score.
Offa Hengawi then taking his place in the line-out, just a couple of metres out from the Welsh line. Australia looking for their 4th try with some 18 minutes of the second half rather gone. Again, Argy Bargy in the line-out this time. It's John Eales, the Australian, who's penalised. So what will be the Welsh decision here? Clement called up from fullback. So that's a lovely kick by the Welsh fullback, and at least he's taken Wales up to their own 10-metre line.
Well, it's Australia now trying to avoid the problem with interference in the line-out by creating a bit of space and retiring 2 or 3 men, and that gives Eales, for example, a lot more space to jump for the ball.
Acres of space for him as he goes up, taps the ball back. Mosley was the man penalised for interfering.
Well, I'm just surprised that Lawrence seems to be playing it in this way, because I thought that Australia were just equally as guilty of that line as Wales were.
Miller on the drive then. Offa Hengawi, number 8, is there to aid him. The ball alive on the Australian side. Horan, acres of space for him as Hall went for the interception. The ball alive on the Welsh side through Scott Gibbs. Now Wales need to lift their game a bit. It's Mosley the lock going driving on. Wales almost up to halfway. Chance for Phil Davis, trying to get up ahead of steam. Richard Webster going in there to aid him. But the ball had been knocked forward. So frustration all round then for Wales. And the scrum will go to Australia. Referee Lawrence again holding up the scrum until the ball in Slattery's hands arrives, then quickly taken. Offa Hengawi, Webster threw quickly on him, as was Robert Jones. The ball though is alive for Australia. Another little run. In comes fullback Roebuck, looking now then for the switch from Campese. Here he goes, David Campese. Try here surely for little, back inside to McKenzie. Steaming his way towards the line. Oh, really, he shouldn't give him past there, surely. Kearns arrives to keep it alive, but the ball knocked forward, and finally it's Emile Lewis who plays for Wales. But the referee calls them back for the knock-on there by Australia, and really they should have scored there again.
There's some marvellous support play and field running by the Australians, but you have to realise, of course, that when a front row forward gets that close to the line, he's not going to pass to anybody.
Play held up for the moment because of an injury on the Australian side, so that gives us a chance to have a look at that move again.
Well, it seemed a bit strange for me for the referee to have blown up when he did, in fact, because the ball, although there may have been a knock-on, and it's Wales who's going to get the... Well, I'll stop for a moment and look at the action replay here. Some lovely play by Australia here, some good passing, and let's look at the amount of support that's coming in. Here are the forwards now entering into the play, some good play.
Yes, unfortunately, just when they were poised to deliver the ball for the second time there, I think they lost control and it was a knock-on.
But what I was going to say was that is a poor decision by the referee. There may have been a knock-on, but Wales had kicked it out and could have had an advantage up towards the 10-metre line here.
They're back in the shadow of their own line, though. That scrum's gone round 90 degrees. So again, the scrum will have to form. Referee again telling Wales to go back. This time it's the Australians who are penalised for pulling down. chance then for Wales to clear their lines. That's the view then from high above the East Terrace at Cardiff Arms Park as Anthony Clement takes the Welsh team out to their own 22. So again, the five-man line then for hooker Phil Kearns to aim at. Plenty of option. Both his main jumpers, as we see at the back there. And it's Eales at the very back who taps down. Slattery taken down. Miller looking to play scrum half, but no way that ball was going to come out. Slattery, the last man up. The little Australian scrum half, one of their try scorers this afternoon. 23 minutes gone in this second period. Australia still leading by 22 points to 3. Offa Hangawi comes off. Looks for the drive then. Miller in well. Prevented though by Robert Jones from getting it back, but only temporarily. Little goes for the gap, half tackled. Horan in support. Ring tries to pull him down, but Horan showing his strength. As over go Australia then, trying to rock this ball back. Slattery under pressure from Phil Davis. Hands in there, says the referee. Phil Davis, the man penalised, the Welsh number 8. And Australia go for the quick one. This time though, the scrum half Peter Slattery failed to kick the ball as things start to warm up again. It's the Aussie skipper Michael Lynagh and Robert Jones involved in that little fracas.
Just a lightweight challenge.
Well, he didn't even bother to give him a strong lecture, which had there been any forwards there, I'm sure he would have done.
So it's Robert Jones then feeding the scrum for Wales on their own 22-metre line. Out to Mike Hall in the outside half position. Scott Gibbs, but unable to keep the ball in play, which surely Wales need to do, have to do at this stage. So the line-up will form, and once again it'll be an Australian put-in. So a chance for them once again to put pressure on Wales, because they've been absolutely dominant in this phase of play. Eales this time then, standing at the very back. Gets his hands to the ball. Slattery. Tackled by Ring and by Webster. Tries to reclaim possession, but it looks to be coming out on the Welsh side this time. The frustration of Robert Jones, the Welsh scrum half, as referee Keith Lawrence decided to blow up then just as the ball was about to appear on the Welsh side. Telling Robert Jones to get on with it. Davis picks up, gives it the ball to Lewis. Webster, the third member of that back row trio involved there, but Wales going across the field before finally it's released then for the backs. Straight out to Emile. In support is Hall. He can go down this touchline, well tackled by Little. And it's Horan then who does the sweeping up job. But at least a bit of initiative shown by Wales and by Mike Hall, the centre.
Yes, I think that was a little bit better. Mark Ring just threw the long pass there to Arthur Emmer, so he get the ball in his hands early, and at least they made some progress upfield.
Arthur Emmer creating the space, and Hall doing well. In the meantime, a couple of injuries on the Australian side. Peter Slattery, the scrum half.
Well, this is about the first attack that Wales have been able to mount all afternoon. Hall very close to the touchline, but he does well.
So I wonder what Prince William makes of this game. Certainly I'm sure he'll have enjoyed the tremendous excitement generated by this capacity crowd at Cardiff Arms Park. Quickly taken then, but lost for Wales again as they look to vary it a little. And Campese can send in a huge kick. Meanwhile, the referee brings them back to the 22-metre line because David Bishop is in. He has spotted something and wants to report it to Keith Lawrence. Referee Bishop talking, Deputy Judge Bishop rather, talking about the 2 men involved in the fracas. It's the 2 hookers who are actually called up. Kearns on the Australian side and Garen Jenkins on the Welsh side, and Ian Evans, the Welsh captain, has to make the long trek across field to hear this lecture. The 2 of them involved in fighting, but it seems to be really a little bit of a storm in a teacup, really. Both of them given official cautions by the referee, giving them both a final warning. And which way will the penalty go? The penalty goes to Wales. So then, can Wales actually get their first try of this game on the board? It's Phil Davis switches the ball into Hall. The second phase platform is created for Wales, but they can't get it back. Too many bodies in there, failing to stand on their feet. That's certainly the best position that Wales have had almost in the whole of this game. 28 minutes gone in the second half, just some 12 minutes to go. Wales trailing Australia by 22 points to 3. Phil Davis controlling the ball, flicks it to Hall, comes in on the burst on a good angle, wants Arthur Emmett to go in on the switch, drives on, now then Wales will look for support. Phil Davis there again, the ball's alive for Hall. To Jones, if Wales can spin it quickly they have a chance. Scott Gibbs running strongly, well tackled though, pops it up though for Anthony Clement, the fullback. Wales still go on. Jones dummies the pass out to Emil, goes for the drop at goal, and really that just about sums up the Welsh play this afternoon. But at the end, Arthur Emil, having run out of options, decided to go for the drop kick.
Unfortunately, I think there's quite a lot of niggle starting to creep into this game, and at a time where Australia is threatening to really take control, there's a lot of antagonism generating and causing quite a few errors from both sides. Unfortunately, it looks like the game may fizzle out, perhaps.
So Wales then unable to take this opportunity.
And this about the best period, which doesn't say very much for Wales for the whole match, I think. Some winning some possession, some good attacking play, but running out of players and options, I think. And Arthur Emmett, as a last resort, tries a very mediocre drop at goal.
So Wales then will have to depend on Argentina beating Western Samoa tomorrow if they're to make any progress in this competition. But first of all, Wales will need to score some tries in this game, otherwise their position is absolutely hopeless. Clement, superb tackle on him there by Little. Webster tries to take it on, but Wales really are getting nowhere. Up then come the Australians to put pressure on the untidy Welsh possession. The hack on is by Kearns. Back goes Emil. Gets a good contact on the ball. Who does he find inside him though? It's forwards. Phil Davis though as well to get the ball away to Clement. Ring trying to change the angle. The ball in with Emil Lewis. Wales up and over the 22. Phil Davis takes it on. Hall dummies the pass. Now it's Robert Jones. Ian Evans. Wales still really not out of trouble. Now it's Ring. Webster out to Emil. Up to Campese. Tackle in fact by Horan. And at least something for the Welsh crowd to get behind their team, as it's Emil Lewis now. But Wales still, after all this frenetic activity, are still not up to halfway. They do manage to keep the ball alive though. Through Ring, the long pass, a nice one to Clement up from fullback. Showing some pace. Needs somebody to link in with him quickly though. Phil Davis is on the scene. The number 8 wrestles the ball away, keeps it alive for Wales. Hall dummies his way. Ian Evans though not in immediate contact, and so it's a chance for Edgerton to come away. Ankle tap there by Jenkins though, but it's Roebuck as Australia once again go over the halfway line. So a very exciting piece of play.
Well, and I think it's a phrase that Bill has used here before, is what's called catch-up rugby. We called it earlier on, Bill, and that's what Wales are indulging in at the moment. A bit frenetic, but at least it's something that they're doing positively.
Phil Davis then, as the game restarts, drives in, creates the platform for this second phase ball. Ring. Gibbs coming up at pace, but running into tacklers. And difficult there for the forwards to maintain possession. They failed to do so, in fact. So now it's Campese. Up goes Campo, up towards halfway. Good support from Eales. What a good athlete he is. What a good pass that was. Roebuck. Hacked on then by Slattery. As back goes Ian Evans. There are bodies all over the place as Wales look to defend. Evans, the skipper, in trouble as Little, the centre, plays flanker for the Australians. Miller, a chance here surely for Tim Horan. He's got the legs off Emyr Lewis. So it's Timmy Horan then who gets that try behind the posts. Australia's 4th try, and there are bodies everywhere in that 22.
That's just an outstanding try by any standards. I don't think I've ever seen so many exhaustive football players. And the secret to all that play was really some brilliant tackling and consistent tackling from the Australians, and that's the difference. Heavy, consistent tackling. Eventually they got the ball, and that's the result. There's just nothing left.
But it just seems to me yet again that it was Wales with the possession, that they should have kept possession, and they lost it. And it's from then that Australia had the final move to get the try for Horan.
Yes, Tim Horan showing plenty of pace there. No trouble at all at the end of that move. But superb rugby, as Bill Courcroft said, by the Australians. And Michael Lynagh is able to add the extra points.
It'll be very interesting to put a stopwatch on that move, in fact, because a lot of activity would seem to have lasted for about a minute. Once Wales had got up into the Australian half, Australia won it back and then they counter-attacked. But I still believe that in the middle of all that, that it was a Welsh mistake that allowed it to occur.
Well, there's a try at the end, but as I said before, the secret to that was just the consistent and heavy tackling by the Australians. The Welsh had good possession there for some time, but really couldn't break the line, and eventually it was Australia's turn, and Wales had nothing left to defend.
6 minutes to go then at the end of this game. Australia 28 points to 3 in the lead. Knock on though in that position. So this then will be a scrum to Australia. Slattery gets the ball away then to Lynagh, who decides to attack again. Bad pass though for Little. The alignment may have been wrong, but anyway, now it's Ring. Gets the ball to Ian Evans. Danger here though for Wales, but the Australians up in an offside position, will they? Punch is thrown, so really now the referee surely has to do something about this. The touch judge Jim Fleming is in from the far side of the field. Referee Lawrence has rather lost this game, I feel, in the last 20 minutes or so. Jim Fleming has spotted something. So referee Lawrence finally then goes over to check with him. As Bill Courcroft mentioned a little while ago, this game has become rather niggly. So here's the move then. Arthur Emyr in trouble, tackled by McCall, a punch from Emyr and a punch by McCall back then. So what would be Jim Fleming's decision transmitted there to referee Lawrence?
Well, I think looking at that, it looked like a series of slapping more than anything else.
Referee Lawrence, having been told that the Australian had been held there and that then Arthur Emyr retaliated. So that's a caution to Rod McCall. The penalty will go to Wales. So McCall, the guilty man.
And Eales is the second man of the afternoon to be given an official caution by the referee.
Quickly taken then by Wales as they launch Richard Webster. Robert Jones has the ball. Ring. The pass then to Hall. Outside him is Clement. Emyr tries to straighten it up. The Australian tackling once again good though, and Jason Little able to come away with it. Again the referee's whistle has gone.
But once again it was Wales who had the possession going into that ruck, and it was Australia who brought it out.
No takes against the head. And an injury now on the Welsh side, in fact, with some 3 minutes to go at the end of this game. Well, we heard mention earlier in the week from Steve Smith and from Peter Wheeler, I think, about the lack of support for Wales. Well, Wales can't complain about that today, but certainly Welsh fans over the years have become conditioned, unfortunately, to failure. Only 3 victories in the last 13 games played at home here at Cardiff Arms Park, where so often, of course, in the glorious 70s, this was a home banker. Not a great deal for Welsh fans to cheer about in recent years. Wales losing a player, though, unfortunately. Arthur Emyr with a bang on the ribs by the look of it, as we see those amazing figures.
And that, to me, is the story of the afternoon, why it is that Wales have lost this game. There it is. The line has been the critical feature of the afternoon. 24-2 to Australia.
Liner in his 22 decides to open it up then. Up at speed. There came Robert from fullback, but he was well tackled by Gibbs. Jeff Miller, though, coming away for Australia. He's had a fine game for them this afternoon, and they're queuing up to handle in this move. Capesi again injects the pace, sidesteps, gives the pass to Liner. He can go all the way himself. He's got Opera should he need him. He doesn't need him. So another superb move then, and a superb try by Australia, as Michael Liner celebrates his 50th cap with that superb try.
Well, it's a matter of just too much energy from the Australians at the end. Good clean possession. Miller did well to pinch that ball and to set it up cleanly. Plenty of people on the short side. And Campese, well, he was probably having a bit of fun there. He could have given it early, could have given it several times. Liner with plenty of support on the outside and inside. And fine piece of running. And let's see if he can cap that off by kicking it from the sideline also. There's Campese swerving this way and that.
And Michael Liner, who scored a try back here in 1984, 28 points to 9 the win that day. Well, Australia are going to better that score today, as Michael Liner prepares to take the conversion. Wales, having made a replacement for Arthur Emyr, will pick up the man in just a moment. So a difficult angle then for Michael Liner. That's the Welsh replacement. That's David Evans, who has played at outside half and centre for Wales. Coming on then for the injured Arthur Emyr. .34 points then, the most that Wales have conceded here at Cardiff Arms Park. Michael Liner looking to equal that figure. Michael Liner then with the conversion shot, just not quite doing enough across the posts, but with time now running out, we're into injury time. Australia in the lead by 32 points to 3.
But I think it does create a record of the difference in points in the past. 25 points earlier equaled it. Now with 29 points difference, it's the highest one at the Arms Park.
Referee Lawrence then bringing them back into centre field for this scrum. There won't be time for much more than this scrum. One more move maybe. We're almost a minute into injury time at the end of this game. Wales then without a try in this game. Their last hopes of qualifying for the quarter-finals of the World Cup have gone. Slattery recovers then, despite that challenge by Emyr Lewis. Finally, the bodies go to ground. But it's the Australians who are going forward, so this will be a put-in at the scrum for them. Time, yes, for another set scrum. Referee Lawrence taking another long, hard look at his watch. We've had almost now a minute and a half of injury at the end of this game. And it's Australia then will probably be the last put-in at the scrum. But still time for Edgerton to go on. The ball is alive, finally though, the referee's whistle goes, again put into Australia at the scrum. And still it appears there's time. And really, a day of disaster for Wales, Gerald Davis.
Well, yes, it is. It's one other disaster among many over the last 10 years for Wales. But I don't suppose that anyone expected much better, because the skill of the Australian team is so much better than that of Wales.
And the athleticism too, then, as the forwards create the platform once again for one more move, maybe. The referee, though, calls them back for an offside against the Welsh backs. Slattery takes it quickly to Liner. Floats it to Campese, flicks it back in there. But the ball had gone forward, I think. Yes, indeed. So the referee will call for a scrum.
I think Wales came to this game expecting the old-fashioned virtues of courage, character, and a whole lot of spirit to carry the day. But at this level in international football, it depends on talent and great skill.
The one centre, Scott Gibbs, needing treatment off the field. And Richard Webster on the field also needs treatment. It's quite incredible, really, the collapse in Welsh fortunes, as we have a second replacement on the field for Wales. That's Mike Rhea, the local boy, the Cardiff fullback. It's quite incredible that after all the great successes of the 70s, that Wales now will have to pre-qualify for the next World Cup.
Yes, I think that on the other hand, it's been an excellent performance from Australia, the best performance of the tournament so far, just what they wanted going into the quarterfinals.
Yes, indeed. Let's concentrate on Australia, who've been building up gradually.
But I doubt very much whether in any of the other matches they will be allowed to dominate the line-out as much as they have done today.
And of course, next they'll have to face the Dervishes in the green shirts of Ireland. And that should be quite some game. Webster bundled over by that heavy tackle by Offa Hangawe. But there's a last chance for Wales and for Mike Hall. Ring on the loop. David Evans in centre field. The ball, though, is with Australia. There's one more chance for them too. Horan, the little slip past the liner. Offa Hangawe on the right wing. Strong enough to keep it alive. Lovely play by Australia. Could there be one more score here for them? Not if Emmett Lewis has anything to do with it, as he goes tackling in there. Robert Jones falls well on the wall too for Wales. The Australians penalised there for playing the ball on the floor. 4.5 minutes of injury time played at the end of this game. And surely now just seconds left. Jones to ring. Evans. Well tackled again. Told by the referee to release the ball immediately. But it comes out to ring. Ray outside him. Chance here maybe, takes the man well. Webster was charging into Campese, gets it out to Hall. Rhea again on the burst. Lawrence Delaney, one of the few times he's had the ball in his hands here today. Jenkins the prop. We're now 5 minutes into injury time at the end of this game. And Ring sends the flat ball there to Clement. Knocked over though by Horan. There's a touch of 7-a-side about this game now, and Poitevin maybe, yes, can set Marty Roebuck away for his second score. So Australia then up to 36 points. A second try in this game for fullback Marty Roebuck to go with the one that he scored against Wales at Brisbane on his international debut.
Yes, once again, just marvellous constant skills by the Australians. It is very much 7-a-side at the moment. They're playing around at the end of the game, but again, it generates some such heavy tackling from the Australians. The Welsh had the ball there for several plays, but consistent tackling. They lose the possession there. Another good tackle from Horan, and Rob Edgen is such a marvellous runner. Poitevin, change of direction, and straight through untouched again.
The conversion is over from Michael Liner, and that's it. That's it then. Australia through. The final score, Australia 38, Wales 3.
Marty Roebuck, what an experience at Cardiff Arms Park for you.
You're not wrong, Steve. It really was a dream come true.
The forwards did the right thing today.
They did. We were a little disjointed, probably still, a bit unsure of ourselves early in the game, but we came together late in the game and really produced the goods that we're looking for later on.
The fluency wasn't really there in the back line in the first 15 minutes, even though you were dominating possession. Yeah,
that's true. I think, again, we were a little tentative, and, Campo's brimful of confidence, as we all know, and he was really getting us to try and get on the front foot, and fortunately we came through.
The line-out must have been especially pleasing, because it's been a struggle the last couple of games.
Indeed, yeah, the conditions, and also, perhaps again the confidence wasn't there in the line-out, and today, as you saw, we dominated, and it's all looking good, hopefully.
Do you feel you ran Wales out of legs there in the last 10 minutes?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we were feeling it. I think there was one phase there where there was a penalty in the middle of it, but it was definitely a long phase of play, and the fitness really told. It was good for us.